here.
Kind of cold, really cold outside.
Yeah, it's cold outside. Yeah.
Hey, Pat.
How are you? How are Well, how's the swimming going?
Yeah, I'm taking a break. Yeah, I got a bunch of skiing to do and been skiing a bunch, and then I was sick for 2 weeks, so knocked me on my ass. Some sort of chest cold.
Yeah.
I thought it might be pneumonia, but I even got a chest x-ray, and they said no, just a chest cold. So yeah, like just yesterday, it was like about the first day, I more or less symptom free. So. Are you swimming?
Yeah, I've been swimming in
Yeah, it's very civilized. Maybe I should do that. Yeah, it's like having to, pay $130 for 4 months, and then I wasn't going to be here. For the Masters.
Yeah, all from the Masters.
How much is the swim pass?
How much is it?
Can you get a punch card? Where do you buy it? Buy them online. You gotta know somebody in. Okay. Yeah. Let's see.
Hi Pat, how's it going?
Good. What's yours? Yeah.
I could have done without the past couple months.
The picture?
No. The whole murder thing.
Oh, the murder. Oh, my God.
It's been a nasty couple months.
Yes, well, you haven't made too many public comments on it.
No, thank you for the gag order, Your Honor. It's been good. That way I could just tell all these parasites, the national media, let them off. I can't say a word.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
So just what a mess. So I've never been so misquoted or quoted out of context in my life. If I were to run my scientific life the way the press runs things, taking quotes from journal articles and twisting them to suit your own, and strung out to dry. It's just what a mess. So most mostly it's just hanging on by one's fingertips.
Yeah.
You're this far away from disaster at all times. And then you read the encouraging things about more prosaic disasters like the water tank in Lewiston and stuff like that. $3.5 million gallon water tank in Lewiston gave way just ruptured. The whole thing went right down the street, wiped out a couple houses, storage units. So that's probably a $6 million bill that fixed that thing. Because it was over 100 years old. With Lewiston, I always wonder about shaky maintenance. Because the city council, we'll just leave that next year. And here we set and raise fees, 2%, 5%, stuff like that for the water fund and stuff like that. And people, it catches up to Lewiston in a big way because they didn't raise their rates to do Okay, more coffee before I wear myself up on stage.
I quit coffee 5 months ago.
Oh.
Nothing, no nothing. Decaf, chocolate.
You were just deprived yourself of all the joys in life, Ron.
I made the trip, but I was so hectic.
Oh.
Really,
Well, I find it's not that big a deal. I just enjoy it. And it turns out that we're in travel status and overseas stuff like that. No big cold turkey. No big deal. If you didn't want to stop putting turkey on these international trips and things like that just because you're already so jammed from jet lag that it makes no sense. No big side effects, so I think it's everybody says, I recognize too many of these people already. Goodness sakes.
coming. First, let's thank Alejandro Aguiar for the music he's been playing. Former Moscow High School student. Yeah. Thank you for joining us, whether you're here in person or on Zoom, and helping us to transition to a new form of presentation where people can eat safely and be in their home if they can't get out. So I'm excited to try this new system. This wonderful presentation of our breakfast means so much to so many people because it's a chance to say how much we believe in the ideals of Martin Luther King. And it's a unique event because the Human Rights, Layton County Human Rights Task Force puts it on. By the way, I didn't say, I'm Joanne Manita, I'm chair of the task force. We put it on, but we do it in collaboration with the City of Moscow, the University of Idaho, and Moscow High School students. If you're here in the hall, you can see the students who have, without them we couldn't do it. They decorate, they set up the table, they bake the muffins, they serve the breakfast, and they stay and clean it up. And having that intergenerational cooperation is the beginning of community. So let's thank them. So here to give the welcome this morning are our partners, the City of Moscow and the University of Idaho. And first we'll hear from our mayor, Art Betke.
Okay, thank you all for being here and attending the Martin Luther King Jr. Day breakfast. This is a chance for us to sit and think about a lot of his ideals and the way we incorporate them in our own lives and the lives of our neighbors and other citizens. Thanks to the Layton Human Rights Commission for putting this on and for the invitation, and also all the other affiliated groups that go along with it. And also especially thanks to the volunteers that are sitting here doing the good work distributing the niblets this morning. So this day to me is not only about discrimination and non-discrimination, but it's also more about equality and how important that is. And even more important, perhaps, than equality is equity, the ability for people to achieve the same result, even if it takes a few more resources to do so. Here in Moscow, we've tried to move forward on these things. Non-discrimination laws, we have an ordinance here that seems to be working very well and puts us well ahead of a lot of other cities, municipalities in the state of Idaho. Some years ago, we came up with the usual list of race, color, age, sex, national origin, familial status, veteran status, or disability. But that also left some gaps, and we went in and backfilled on those a few years back, and also added, sexual orientation, gender expression, and gender identity to that. And this applies to all housing, employment, and public accommodation areas. And this is important not just because there's an ordinance out there, but it also focuses our minds on the fact that there does exist discrimination out there that we need to take care of and think about in our own lives. Point there being is, why do we need this ordinance at all? Shouldn't this just be the default, that people go forth and live their lives without discrimination or prejudice of any kind? That should be the way things work. But in the meantime, because that's not the way our society is, we need to work on that. We also need to keep looking out for goals beyond non-discrimination, as I mentioned, of equality, equal access, and equity, the ability to achieve end results in the end. And so we have ways to go. What we've done so far is great. It's an example. I hope that the rest of Idaho municipalities will follow, but we all have work yet to do to achieve the end goals. So we need to just keep working to those ends, and welcome to the Martin Luther King Jr. Day breakfast and extravaganza. Bon appetit, enjoy, and appreciation for our speaker-to-be. Thanks.
And your program says Yolanda Bisbee will give a presentation, who is the head of the Chief Diversity Officer of UI. Unfortunately, she has COVID. And so we have another representative, Vice President Dan Hewitt, to give the president welcome from the university.
Good morning. My name is Dan Ewert. I'm the Vice President of Information Technology for the University of Idaho. And I am unfortunately a poor substitute for Dr. Yolanda Bisbee, who is very sorry that she can't be here today. It's always hard to follow our mayor, isn't it? Right? He knows exactly what to say in these scenarios, but I am honored to be here at the annual MLK Human Rights Breakfast, and I would like to just share a few words of welcome to all of you, and thank you all for being here. The work done by the Latah County Human Rights Task Force and its partners over the year has made an enormous impact on our community. And the U of I, with the support of President Green and his leadership team, supports these same kinds of opportunities for all faculty, staff, students, and community members to collaborate, to feel welcome, to feel respected, and to create learning environments for all of us to learn and grow. And I think we share those same thoughts with all these other groups. Today's program and guest speakers are just one example of such collaboration. We were lucky enough to have the opportunity to have Dr. Finney visit with our students and provide a keynote on campus on Thursday. Thank you very much. He was very well received. And my understanding is that there were more people than we could accommodate, which is a wonderful scenario to have. We look forward to continuing our partnership on these important programs that provide our community greater learning opportunities and experiences that add to the higher understanding and acceptance of all people. So thank you for providing you and I an opportunity to welcome everyone to today's breakfast. Please enjoy each other's companies, enjoy the presentation and the morning's events. Thank you.
Okay, we have a new tradition that we start with the good news department. And one item of good news this past year is the creation of UI, Black African American Cultural Center on campus. And we're very excited about that. Yes. And so we have a student here, Rebecca Ream, who's a senior at UI, UI's student senator, and she is a member and assistant to director of the African American Cultural Center. So, and she goes by the name Bex. It's my pleasure to welcome Bex to tell us a little bit about it, and then we will proceed with our Rosa Parks Award.
Hi, I'm Bex. I'm not gonna lie, nervous. Tummy hurts a little bit. We'll see how this goes. So the BAC, not black, the BAC is BACC, stands for Black and African American Cultural Center. It is celebrating its 1-year anniversary in February. So let's do that. And I want to make note that this would not be possible if it wasn't for the works of Sydney Freeman, Mario Pyle, as well as KT, Miss KT over there. All of their greatest works and efforts definitely built the foundation to have what we have right now. And the BAC is a wonderful place because it gives our African American students a safe space. And I'm not saying that Idaho is not a safe space, but to be honest, as a Black individual, there are things that can be said and there are things that can't be said. And so going into the BAC knowing that I can say something without being judged first for being Black is really important. And so I want to thank Mario Pyle. He unfortunately could not be here today because he is hanging out with his son, which I love. But that is what I'm talking about in the terms of being accepted without any questions. And so Again, I want to thank Mario for taking on possibly one of the hardest positions a black man can take on in the state of Idaho. Not only is he supposed to be a politician, but he's supposed to be a father, a professor, a mentor, a marketer, a designer, an interior designer. He's not really good at that one. I mean, everything that has been thrown at him, he has taken with a smile. He has gone running with it, and he is happy to do so on behalf of the students, not just himself, but the students. And that is most important, and that is exactly what the BAC is here for. And this is good news. Here's a little bad news about it. I don't want to say anything, sorry. But because it is a new and upcoming situation and position, the BAC is one of the smallest rooms in the ISUB, which is the student union building that we have. It is fully dependent on student fees and the gracious donations that come from all of you individuals that are here today. So thank you for that. And but due to that limited funding, we only have Mario, who is the leader of almost everything black related on campus, and that poor man has agreed to do so much. So with roughly over 4,000 white students that are registered to be a student at the U of I, if you had to guess how many black students were on campus, just a guess, there's no right or there is a wrong answer. There's 80. There's only 80 black students, and so thanks to all of the efforts and all of the gracious donations and everything that everybody has done to make sure that the BAC is something that is what it is today, you are giving those 80 students a safe space. You are giving those 80 students a voice. You are giving those 80 students the foundation they need to build a brighter future for the people who come after them. And that is the most important thing, because coming here from San Diego, it was definitely a culture shock, not gonna lie. But the amount of discriminatory anything that has happened to me is minimal, very minimal. But I can't say that for my darker skinned individuals. I can't say that for the other students who are on campus who don't want to visit the BAC because that'll put a target on them. So things that you guys can do to help is to continue to have breakfasts like these. Invite your black friends, enjoy the culture, embrace the culture, show up to events that any black individual is putting on that could be supporting black businesses, supporting black artists, but most importantly, harass Mario Pyle. Send him so many emails and send him so many voicemails that he's like, I don't know what to do with all of this support. I have flyers up here for the BAC and the Black Student Union, and as well as some buttons. Please take them. Please hand them out to any organization or anyone you think that can contribute anything at all. Even a smile. We like smiles. Okay, so I don't know how to professionally sign off. Thank you.
So when we started this breakfast 29 years ago, one of the thoughts of what to do as part of the program was to honor people in the community who were making a difference, making a wonderful contribution to human rights. And so we started the Rosa Parks Human Rights Achievement Award, named after Rosa Parks, whose actions made a difference. The first award was given to Stan Thomas, who's passed on, but his daughter is here with us today. And we've been giving those awards every year. After a few years, it was suggested we also give an award to a young person, a student, who maybe hasn't accomplished quite so much, but is showing great promise. So we added the Student Award. And that's an important part of what we do every year at the breakfast. Before we do that, though, I would like to take a moment to remember and honor some of the leaders who have passed this past year, two of whom have received that award, as a matter of fact. One is Linda Christensen, She wasn't a member of the task force, but as you'll hear later, she was a volunteer who was always there. In fact, she was queen of the kitchen and would always prepare casseroles for us. She would shop in the farmer's market in the summer, buy all the stuff and cook it for us. She was also a very active member of the Sister City Association. Another person who we're missing is Dean Stewart, former pastor of Emmanuel Lutheran Church, but also one of the founders of the Peace Coalition, and also always to be found at the Friday Peace Vigil, and always to be found playing with the Moscow Peace Band. And he was one of the award winners of the Rosa Parks Award. Another is Carla Kapler, a charter member of the task force, a unique, fiery, talented, amazing lady, and a talented artist who created this poster, who is also on your program. And she did artwork for bookmarks and things like that. She always gave of her talents and abilities. She was a recipient of the City of Moscow Community Unity Award. And the last is Liz Sullivan. Liz Sullivan was a charter member of the task force, but she was also represented Moscow on the first Idaho Human Rights Commission, and was an active member in many organizations, including League of Women Voters, and was awarded the Rosa Parks Award. So hail and farewell to these wonderful people, and we want to remember them. But now we also want to present today's award. So, do I have Steve here? Our newly elected vice chair of the Human Rights Task Force is Steve Daly Larson, and he will present the Student Award. Oh, okay. Sorry, lost my place here. Another bit of good news. Mary Jo Hamilton, one of our secretary and one of our treasured members, suggested that we create a plaque that could hang in the high school that would list the names of all the high school students who have received this student award. And with the cooperation of Principal Perryman, she went ahead, and here it is.
All right, I hope you can see this. This was made by Precision Engraving. It'll hang in the high school halls and maybe be a source of inspiration for more students to come through. We've had a wonderful 13 students so far who have won who have been awarded the Rosa Parks Award, and their names are, and the year they received them are on the plaque. We have 13, we have room for 40, so we're hoping for lots more in the future.
Thanks, Joanne. Thanks, Mary Jo. Adjusted for height. Maybe a round of applause for the kitchen crew this morning, and all the food people. And Joanne mentioned that I'm newly elected to the vice chair position for the Human Rights Task Force. That's an honor. And if you'd like to read a little bit about what motivates me, take a look at an article in the Daily Evergreen that showed up after Joanne and I were interviewed. Daily Evergreen at WSU published an article on Thursday. I'll tell you a little bit about origins of things from our own souls and why we're in this business. I also want all of us to thank Joanne for her incredible leadership. I think it's 40 years more, maybe more than 40 years. Just simply I also want to do a shout out to Bex, who I thought did a tremendous job up here. She told me she had a stomach ache, but I pushed her up here anyway. KT Turner, KT, will you wave to the crowd? Another incredible leader from the Black. It's just an honor to have both of them here at the head table with us. Excuse me. The Rosa Parks Junior Award is presented to a young person in the community who shows promise in the field of human rights. Criteria are active participation in human rights causes, a record of leadership and accomplishment, and manifestations of special courage and commitment in opposing bigotry and celebrating diversity. Thank goodness our community each year has someone like this that we can give recognition to. According to our nominators, this year's award recipient has demonstrated a deep commitment and willingness to learn and work for human rights and social justice causes. As an active member of the Moscow High School Human Rights and International Club, as an elected member of the Latah County Human Rights Task Force, and as an appointed member of the City of Moscow Human Rights Commission, this person serves as a valuable liaison between the high school, the city, and the community on a broad range of human rights issues. A member of the Human Rights Commission stated, through participation in events, planning, and the offering of numerous suggestions and insights, this nominee has demonstrated commitment through action. As a member of the HRTF, the Human Rights Task Force, a member there states, the nominee is an advocate and speaker of truth to power, who stands on his own, debates with precision, and collaborates to make progress on human rights agendas. Our nominee has volunteered generously for the Greater Moscow Food Drive, the MLK Human Rights Community Breakfast, and also joined the steering committee of the Emerging Moscow Together project, designed to celebrate and enhance Moscow's positive and powerful values of being welcoming, caring, and inclusive. At school, our nominee has served 4 years and now leads the Model UN Leadership Program. One of his accomplishments has been refining the middle school Cub Mun simulations curriculum to focus more on ending poverty in all forms everywhere. Our nominee likes to mentor and provide guidance to other students, encouraging others to read, to grow their own perspectives, to listen, to mature in their roles as club and community members. For the MHS Extended Learning Internship Project, which many of you know of as ELI, this nominee studied queer activism, methodology, and practice, and helped educate his peers about the challenges of coming out as a queer in today's society. A well-deserved congratulations for our 2023 Rosa Parks Junior Award recipient, Eli Jones. The good volunteer that Eli is, he is leading the delegation from the area at the Model UN program in Boise this weekend. He has been informed that he's won the award. So he's not with us today, but true to form, he's down there doing what he does best. However, Eli's parents, Ginger Carney and Adam Jones, and his grandmother, who I believe is Catherine Carney, did I get it? Patricia Carney, oh, sorry, hi Patricia, are here to accept the award. After all, it's nice to acknowledge the family's role in raising a fine young person like Eli. So please come forward to receive the award.
Yeah.
So apparently precision engraving was flooded. Some of you probably know about this. And so our award is partly underwater at the moment, but Ginger would like to say a few words.
Actually, I did not know I'd be saying a few words, so I know that Eli is really humbled and honored to receive that award. I don't think there's anything I can say after Stephen's introduction that can really describe more about what he's done and what he's doing. I know he wishes he could be here. My husband actually didn't want to come up here because he's videoing this so that we can share it with Eli, but You know, he has been involved in the Human Rights Task Force and Commission for a number of years. That work is important to him. He is a senior, so he's applying to college, and he's going to continue this work as he goes and studies international relations and human rights at college. So I'm honored and humbled as his parent to be up here accepting this award for him, and I want to thank whoever the nominee was and the task force for giving him this award. Thank you.
And presenting the award for the community member, we have Joan Klingler, who's an active human rights supporter in our community, very active with the League of Women Voters, and here she is to present the community award. And that one's also underwater.
Thank you, Joanne. And I'm nervous too. So I'm reading from my cheat sheet. We all know people who are misunderstood, stigmatized, and looked down upon throughout their personal struggles. Even when they seek help, they are met with obstacles. They are fellow community members. They might be our neighbors, co-workers, family members, or even ourselves. They live in rich neighborhoods, poor neighborhoods, and in the street. They may have distinct needs, but they encompass all those who face discrimination. They are Black, Hispanic, Asian American, members of various faiths, female, gay, transgender, people with disabilities, and others who are marginalized. Sometimes they are invisible, even when asking for help. Today's honoree saw the need, saw the people, and wanted to help. This person truly believes in the good of those individuals and knows that those who struggle with mental health and substance abuse disorder are fellow citizens, not an embarrassment and not to be hidden from society. Thanks in large part to this person's initiative and diligence, their capacity for building alliances and ability to write compelling grant proposals, a center was opened 7 years ago in the midst of our community. It is a helpful, welcoming place not to be hidden away. Today it receives continued funding from local, state, federal entities and from you, the public. The center offers workshops, education, and support in developing skills and giving people opportunities to prove to themselves that they are capable of success. Thanks to this person, crisis training for local law enforcement and first responders was instituted. Clients are greeted with kindness and compassion, treated as the family and friends they are, and welcomed into the mainstream of society. Due to this mentorship and working to build community support, these clients can continue their recovery outside of the center with a home to stay in while they re-enter the workforce and continue their recovery. Because of the hard work and caring nature of today's recipient, Moscow Center has become a beacon of hope and a model for others to emulate. I am pleased to present the 2023 Rosa Parks Human Rights Achievement Award to the founding director of the Latah Recovery Center, Daryl Cunningham.
That just makes it a better story. So Steve thought he had to adjust it for height. I'll adjust myself for height. It's probably a little easier. My wife tricked me. I'm supposed to be at the Mac and Cheese Festival in Coeur d'Alene at this moment. I didn't prepare any remarks as a result. However, I would have to say that this is a great honor, but I think the honor goes to the entire staff of the Recovery Center. I had the pleasure of starting it, but the many things that we've become in the 7 years since we started, the housing that we opened this year, the harm reduction model that we now follow, those were the ideas of my staff. So I happily accept the award, but the honor goes to the entire staff, in my opinion. Thank you all.
Congratulations, Daryl. I know you have a great staff, but it takes great leadership. And a lot of people said, without you, we would not have that place for people to go. I just want to remind you all that the nominations for the Rosa Parks Award can come from anybody in the community. So be thinking about somebody you think you would like to nominate for next year. Well, now we're going to have a bit of entertainment, and it's my great honor to introduce Jeannie Michael, who is another activist. See, everyone is an activist. I mean, she was out there in the street when the megaload trucks were trying to come through Moscow. That's activism for you. But she's also a great entertainer as well as a chemist, I believe. Come on up, Jeannie. And she's going to play some music for us. You grab your last muffin because food's going to disappear soon.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Joanne, for this kind invitation and for the wonderful work everybody's doing here. Someday change is going to come. I was born by a river in a little tent. Just like that river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Yes, it will. So I go to a movie and I go downtown. People keep telling me that I can't hang around. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Yes, it will. So I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me please, help me please. But he just winds up knocking me, he just knocking me right back down to my knees. Well, there were times when I thought it wouldn't last for long, but now I think I've got the strength to carry on. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Yes, it will. Sing it with me. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Yes, it will. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Thank you. So my next song, I'm going to be joined by Dr. Elizabeth Stevens. And so while she gets up here, I'm going to tell you that we're going to do some antiphonal singing. And if I'm using that word right, It means I'm going to sing something and you're going to sing something back to me. And this is a song I wrote called Feel the Love. And I'm going to sing Feel the Love. And Elizabeth is going to sing Here in Moscow, Idaho. And just follow her lead. She's a professional. And would you please join us with Here in Moscow, Idaho? The name of the song is Feel the Love. On the broad shoulders of a modest mountain, striped by a stream, paradise, hills of the blues, the lost people of our dreams, under sacred skies. Sometimes winds of sorrow sweep the prairie, our heart cries from ashes real and imaginary. We will rise, feel the love here in Moscow, Idaho. 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 Long shadows, early flowers, retreating snow on the forest floor. Harsh winter of our discontent, a fleeting glow, just a metaphor. Spring will warm the windows of our lonely souls and restore the light that dust cannot obscure forevermore. Feel the love here in Moscow, Idaho. 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 Living in the moment of the 11th hour, open up the door to the ivory tower, sing like a bird, bloom like a flower. We have the music, we have the power. Feel the love here in Moscow, Idaho. Feel the love here in Moscow, Idaho. Feel the love here in Moscow, Idaho. Here in Moscow, Idaho. Thank you all so much. I'm not going to sing on the next one, but if anybody knows the words to This Little Light of Mine, please join in.
I was into the music. Can we take a minute to stop and think about the importance of the high school and university students who are here today, partly for the help they're providing, but partly because they are the future of activism and human rights. Let's give them all a big hand. Thank you. That gospel music actually brought some tears to my eyes. So, good morning again. I'm here to welcome our keynote speaker for the 2023 Martin Luther King Breakfast. This year, we welcome Dr. Scott Finney. He's the director and senior professor of Africana Studies at Eastern Washington University, just up the road in Cheney. In short time, very short time, 3 days, I have come to know Dr. Finney as a gentleman, a scholar, and a celebrated practitioner in the world of civil rights and justice. I'm pleased to have made a connection with him around our common interests in listening, mutuality, and the field of servant leadership. And I encourage you all to take all of those and have those become your priorities. I look forward to a continuing dialogue with him on these really encouraging approaches as we work toward positive change here in our community and broader. I hope and expect that each of you will also identify with some aspect of Dr. Finney's message this morning like I have with his personality. In fact, Dr. Finney is a humble, inspiring, and personally engaging Renaissance man. Diane said to me on the way home from dinner last night, Scott is a Renaissance man. I think you're all going to see that. Besides being a master of literature and history, a musician on the guitar and piano, an aficionado of 60s and 70s music, a father of four, a former point guard for the Gonzaga basketball team, among other things. Yeah, that's fine, bring it on. Let there be no mistake, he is also the consummate professional. I'm going to tell you a few things about that. He has so many accomplishments and accolades. He has received over 20 awards for excellence in teaching, leadership, civil rights, and mentoring. And he's made over 40 professional presentations over the past decade in 20 cities on 5 continents. He also focuses on key civil rights themes in our very own Pacific Northwest, including affirmative action, intercultural communication, the criminal justice system, and faculty hiring in higher education. Dr. Finney's diversity consulting business, named Engaging Team Concepts, provides customized trainings, workshops, symposia, retreats, practicums, guest presentations, coaching for employers and institutions throughout the Inland Northwest. Dr. Finney delivered an uplifting oratory on beloved community at the University of Idaho's MLK keynote on Thursday on campus. And he's engaged really deeply with students from the University of Idaho and Moscow School District in workshops and conversations over the past 2 days. Not to mention leading a sing-along during the potluck dinner for the Human Rights Task Force last evening. Let's hear it again for the leader of the sing-along. I'm smiling, as I know you will when you get to meet him. I really want to acknowledge the commitment that Dr. Finney has provided to our cause here in Moscow and for his stamina over the past few days. For this morning's address, the Human Rights Task Force has asked Dr. Finney to focus on the topic, community and human rights, growing together. Please join me in a warm welcome for Dr. Scott Finney.
Thank you, Steve. I am so happy to be here, and as Steve said, we have grown together in a short time, and I'm looking forward to many, many return visits because I consider you all family, and we are all here for the same cause. Thank you. I want to thank the mayor and the university, administration, faculty and staff, and especially the students, the Moscow High School, and of course the Moscow Alternatives High School as well. To blend with you all has been a beautiful thing, and to spend last night with the Latah County Human Rights Task Force, I would say was just like a party and a reunion that as if I've always known everyone there. So what you have here is so beautiful and so promising, and the potential and the capacity is unlimited. And considering all of the spokes that are here today, all focusing on the hub, my goodness, the potential is unlimited. And I went around and took pictures of all of the walls, and I backed up. I don't want to get any of you in trouble. I'm not going to put it on any website, but I took pictures of you because I wanted to have an album of my family. So thanks for being my family today. I grew up in Oakland, California during of course, the home of the most finest team in NFL history, Silver and Black. They've been taken hostage to Las Vegas, but they'll be back someday. But I grew up in Oakland in the 60s and 70s, youngest of 7, and social justice was the theme in our hearts, in our movements, in our time, in our music. And to see this here, so many years, so many decades later, mirroring the same thing, even advancing the same thing. I just want to brag about you. And so I took these pictures and I plan to show them to the Human Rights Consortium that I belong to in Coeur d'Alene. We're trying to turn the reputation and the whole narrative there in North Idaho. And we'll need your prayers, thoughts, and if you know voodoo, well, please try to do a little of that too. We need some help in that area. And then in the same way, working with Spokane through all the years that I've been here since my freshman year at Gonzaga in 1975. And then at Eastern Washington University, I want to show all those folks that what's happening here is real, is genuine, and has an unlimited potential and a lot for us to learn. So I'm looking forward to our interaction, our circulation, and I just want to thank you all. Everything you've done here, I want to be your PR man in other areas. This is a marvelous thing. So congratulations. So when we talk about community and human rights, the crucial issue is, as it says on the program, growing together. So many groups here, so much dedication, so many years and decades of blood, sweat, and tears. It's an enormous task to turn the ship. The Titanic sees this iceberg ahead, and we've got to turn it. And I think you all are creating a momentum, a gravitational pull that I believe for the younger generation will leave a lot better situation. And I think we can always be encouraged by looking at the college folks and what they mean to us as we plant seeds into them and believing that there'll be a harvest much larger than the seeds. You know, when we talk about growing together, the crucial thing is this idea of community. Because community, in a sense, really is the vessel. And there is no such thing as human rights. There is no such thing as social justice unless there's an interwoven community. Community actually needs the contents of human rights, the contents of social justice for its meaning, for its purpose. And I believe what's growing here, what's coming here, are all of the spokes pointing toward the hub. And we need to celebrate the hub. We need to actually, I would say, more and more somehow intensify and enriching the hub by the spokes coming together more and more. And Dr. King, of course, gave his life for this view of a community. And he called it the beloved community. And actually, he gave his life apparently to get rid of segregation, apparently to get rid of Jim Crow, apparently to bring in racial equality. And that is so true. And he knew he would have to give his very life and blood for this, to overthrow segregation. Because segregation had been I would call the fly in the ointment. Here we are, standing for liberty and justice for all, and yet this fly seems to have spoiled the whole setting. Liberty and justice for all demands desegregation, demands racial equality. But I would like to say, after 345 years of unofficial and official racial segregation. In 1964, Dr. Martin Luther King, with the help of President Lyndon Baines Johnson, and of course the Supreme Court, they actually brought in a new law that said it's now illegal, at least on paper, to discriminate, to actually use the genetic characteristics of individuals, even the gender of individuals, to actually become a barrier to access, to promotion, to what we call the pursuit of happiness. And that was a great accomplishment in 1964. But I would say that was written into the laws. At my age, I was only 7 years old when that happened. And I was astounded because I saw the reaction of many folks ahead of me. And at 7, I knew something was significant, but I didn't understand the true significance until later. And then I had this understanding later that Dr. King not only wanted segregation to be removed, not only wanted to bring in desegregation, integration, but he actually viewed those items as a means, as a procedure, as a procedural kind of step towards a goal, towards an end. And that end is the beloved community. The beloved community is why he wanted to see what we all, in our hearts, we're already geared that way. Our DNA insists that we have equality and that we have, as was brought out by the mayor, even equity. But the key is this: can we take this pathway and cause it to blossom in something called community, even the beloved community? And for me, I'm here to testify to you all that what I see growing here has the potential, has the capacity to add the purpose and even the meaning to what desegregation, to what integration is all about. And that's the beloved community. And I'd like to, of course, Dr. King spoke of this quite deeply. And I have about 20, actually I added 21. I think you'll like 21 because it relates more so even to your present situation. But I was wondering, as I released these 20 guiding principles, these 20 factors or 21 factors of what the beloved community is, what the meaning of integration was for, can the family respond with a yes we can? Is that okay? I think once upon a time there was a gentleman who was the president that talked about yes we can. And I went to that inauguration in 2009 because I had to see for myself. And when I was there, I saw so much, a diverse crowd of people I'd never seen in my life, over 1 million of us. And to tell you the truth, I've never seen that many human beings in one spot. But we all had the same hope. We all had the same sense of possibility, of capacity. And you know, that was 40 years following the assassination of Dr. King. It's as if on April 4, 1968, when Dr. King died, the whole idea of racial equality, and let alone the idea of a beloved community, was lost. And 40 years later, as a symbol, not as the very factor, but as a symbol, Barack Obama came to the rise of the White House, not to symbolize any black portion or any this or that, but actually to symbolize this fact that we are an American quilt. And we have strands of Latino, we have strands of African descent, of European descent, of Native American descent. We have strands of Asian descent. And you know, every quilt, if you look at the underside, it looks very confusing. But one day that quilt will be turned over and we will rejoice. Because we'll see something of harmony. We'll see something of cohesion. So don't be, I would say, discouraged by the underside of the quilt. We're on our way, and it's a beautiful thing. And I would like to, I would say, release into the universe these words, and with your yes we can afterwards, because words create. They create even in the physical realm. Doing music, I was mentioned, I do music a lot just for my own therapy, even psychologically for my own mental sanity. I'll sit at a guitar or play a piano in that way. No, I'll sit at a piano and play guitar. That's it, yeah. So think about it. And of course, spiritually, what music has done when we consider even the Negro spirituals and the 225 years of enslavement that caused a subculture and underculture known as slave culture to flourish for 225 years, primarily through music. Music does a healing. Music does something to us. And as I was mentioning to a few students, I even talk to my plants. Do you know that talking to your plants helps your plants? Our words have much more power than we know. And our Maker, of course, created so much, virtually and only, uniquely through words. So I'll release these 21 guiding principles, and my family will respond with yes, we can, okay? What is the beloved community? What does it manifest? What are its guiding principles? What did Dr. King want in the end? What was his final goal? It's the beloved community, number one, which offers radical hospitality to everyone, an inclusive family rather than an exclusive club. Family?
Yes, we can.
The beloved community, number two, exhibits personal authenticity, true respect, and validation of others regardless of difference. Family?
Yes, we can.
Number three, it is the recognition and the affirmation, not the eradication, of differences, to celebrate, even to elevate the factor of difference among us. Family?
Yes, we can.
Number four, it involves listening emotionally, engaged with the heart, such to the degree that it fosters empathy and compassion for others, regardless of their difference in stature, appearance, and way of life. Family?
Yes, we can.
Number five, it tolerates ambiguity, realizes that sometimes a clear-cut answer is not readily available. Is that okay, family?
Yes, we can.
Okay, very good. That's the first five. Listen to this next five. What is the beloved community? It builds increasing levels of trust, because right now, when we talk about race relations, the basic factor is not behavior. It's not even history. It's the fact that we don't trust each other. It's that we have more suspicion toward each other than trust. But the beloved community builds increasing levels of trust and works to avoid fear of difference in others. Family?
Yes, we can.
Number seven, it acknowledges limitations, lack of knowledge or understanding, and seeks to learn. All its members are lifetime learners. Family?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Number eight, it acknowledges conflict or pain in order to work on difficult issues. To the degree, as Dr. King said in the Birmingham letter from a letter from a Birmingham jail in 1963, he said, it's good to have tension. Not a tension that is destructive, but a tension that rocks you, that causes you to come out of your comfort zone, because that means you're about to grow. It's not to point a finger, it's not to have winners or losers, it's not to blame others, but we need that tension, and we need that area of discomfort from time to time to learn about others that doesn't match our database of lived experiences, but we validate them, we authenticate them, we legitimize what they've experienced. Family?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Number nine, it involves speaking truth in love, always considering ways to be compassionate with one another. Family?
Yes, we can.
And number 10, it avoids physical aggression and verbal abuse. Family?
Yes, we can.
Yes. So we're halfway there. I think I'm okay with my time. You know, someone will let me know if I'm not. The chair, you know, let's give another hand to the chair of our this whole Joanne, thank you. She is my big sister, my mentor, my coach, and even at times my cheerleader. I appreciate you. Thank you. Number 11, what is the beloved community? It resolves conflicts peacefully, without violence or intimidation, recognizing that peacefully doesn't always mean comfortably for everybody. Family?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Number 12, it releases resentment and bitterness through self-purification, avoidance of internal violence through spiritual, physical, and psychological care. Family?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Number 13, it focuses energy on removing evil forces, unjust systems, but listen, but not destroying persons. Family? Yes, we can. Number 14, it involves unyielding persistence and unwavering commitment to justice. Family? Yes, we can. Number 5, it achieves friendship, understanding through negotiation, compromise, or consensus, considering each circumstance to discern which one will be the most helpful. Family? Yes, we can. Okay, and then the last 5, and then I'll add 21st one. Number 16, the beloved community that Dr. King wanted righteously opposes and takes direct action against poverty, hunger, and homelessness, like our brother just mentioned. Family? Yes, we can. It advocates thoroughgoing, extensive neighborhood revitalization without displacement. Family? Yes, we can. How about this one, number 18? It encourages and embraces artistic expressions, like we saw with this wonderful gift. That was such a beautiful gift to us in the performance we saw. From different expressions of faith and from different perspectives and worldviews of life. Family? Yes, we can. 19, it promotes human rights and works to create a non-racist society. Family? Yes, we can. And then number 20, it shares power and acknowledges the inescapable network of mutuality among the human family. Family? Yes, we can. And then one extra, as I considered your situation here and the other factors and other words being spoken in this community, in spite of the heart and the core of what you all stand for and have expressed today. Number 21, it cannot receive or accept hostility or coercion in any form or for any purpose, for such dishonors our humanity. Family? Yes, we can. And I believe what you have here, I want to add 4 takeaways that we could talk about, and maybe for the months to come, and hope that somehow we could bring it in more into fruition for the sake of the beloved community right here in Moscow. Number 1, the various folks that are here today, here for the beloved community, here for social justice, here for the idea and the practice of human rights here in Moscow. You all can give energy, and I would say exponential energy, by hugging together even more often, to organically grow together. If the hubs are strong, and they really are, and the hubs are authentic and sincere, and you really are, I can just tell in my 3 days here, and of my past history, I would say this is such a promising, fertile kind of situation here. But the question is, can they be turned, all the spokes, into building blocks, and are growing together, even organically, even interpersonally? And those building blocks, as I would say, will create a strand upon a strand, and even a quilt that will be a role model for many other towns, whether Coeur d'Alene or Idaho or Spokane or Cheney, in my eyes. Because what will happen, that growing together, that building block coming together, will actually produce social change against whatever turbulence is before you, against whatever mountains seem so insurmountable. That's number 1. And then number 2, the critical connective tissue is the sharing of personal stories. And I have to say that again and again. There is no connective tissue in a community unless there is the sharing of stories, the dyads, the groups of 3 or 4, or like we had last night, the small home gatherings. There must be from 15 to 20, 10 to 12, coming together to hear personal stories. Personal stories do something to you. I was sitting with students yesterday, and we heard a number of personal stories. And what those stories did automatically is they brought in instant mutual care and instant mutual accountability. It doesn't come from doctrine. It doesn't come from declarations. It comes from face-to-face interaction. And if you could have sat there with us to hear the stories of some of the students and some of the staff at the University of Idaho, immediately you are indebted to take care of them, to think about them, to consider about them. And that's the connective tissue, one-on-one, small group, home gatherings. And if we could practice that more, it's much more powerful than any surveys, any type of mass emails, or even that thing called social media that some generation really gets into. I would say this, it is the sharing of personal stories that will connect you through all of the troubles, all of the ups and downs that come forward. It is the exchange of stories that actually produces lasting, blending, connecting power. And it changes the me to we. And that's what we really need. Everyone really needs that. That's number 2. Then number 3, we are already wired to connect. We have been given a DNA that feels most fulfilled, at peace, and has a sense of meaning when we connect. We are actually inside of us, going against our DNA when we don't connect. And now we just need to take that step to spend that time to actually listen and not just hear other stories. And when we do, it does something to us. You walk away transformed. Even if you don't intend to be, you can't be the same when you take time to authenticate, to legitimize, to validate people's lived experiences and stories that they can share with us. And I hope that we can go along with our DNA. That's just the 3rd step. And then lastly, I'd like to let you all know a good word that Dr. King shared. And I have held to this since my early days of consciousness in the 1960s all the way till now. And that's that the moral arc of the universe is long. And sometimes so long we lose sight, we lose hope, we lose encouragement. But be assured, it bends towards justice. There is such a fact. Can the family say yes, we can? So don't let the length discourage you. Don't let it misdirect you. Be assured, what is planted in you will come to a harvest. We just need to take the time to water it, to spend time with each other, to crisscross with each other, to interweave with each other, and to actually realize that connective tissue that we all long for anyway, and that becomes the vessel, the container for human rights, that becomes the vessel and container for social justice. I am happy to be around so many beautiful people. I want to take a picture of you again and again because I want to take you back home and tell the good news to many people. The gospel, the good news, is that human rights and that social justice can be carried out, can be preserved, can be realized through this matter of the beloved community that Dr. King lived, breathed, and died for. Thank you for your time. I love you all.
Wow, yes we can indeed. I'm so glad we've been able to listen to Dr. Finney and join his family and have him join our family. It's really wonderful. Before we close, I have a few things to announce, some more good news. Good news number 1, the Martin Luther King Art and Essay Contest is still open. There are 10 more days for students to write essays or create artwork about the theme of community, the value of community. So if you are a teacher or a parent or a student, you could go to our website to find the prompts, and we will have a special ceremony on February 11th to give those awards. And I think there's some information in the back also if you want to pick it up. So that's number 1. Number 2 is you can join the Layton County Human Rights Task Force. Ooh, we need your help. That's 3 things to know about our task force. We need your help. Some of us are getting a little older, and some of us have passed on, as you heard. We need reinforcements. We have great plans. We want to expand our work with young people in the community. And number 2 to know is we're not beholden to anyone. We're a grassroots organization. In these difficult, dark times when people are trying, for example, to undermine our free public school education, the backbone of our community, we can and we do speak out. So that's why we need your help. I'm number 3 or 4, wherever I'm up to. Joining the task force is not a full-time job. You can be a board member like Mary Jo and Steve and I and Walter, but you can also be what we call an associate member, and that's somebody who volunteers to work on a committee, and people who help just for the breakfast, for example. You can volunteer to do that too. And all this information is on our website. You could sign up at the door and say, call me, and I will, or email me, and I might. No, I will. So we do need your help. So before we sing our final song, I would like to thank all the people who helped us today, and I'd like to have the student volunteers and the kitchen crew and the front of house, all our members to come up here so you can see them and thank them again. So where are those wonderful students? And where are the task force members? And we have one AmeriCorps worker. I hope she will join us. Usually I have 6 AmeriCorps. This year I could only get 1. Yeah, okay. Steve just reminded me that there's information about the Black American African American Cultural Center here for you to pick up, or a button, beautiful buttons to have too. Okay, do I have everyone up here? Okay, one more round of thanks and so these students, many of them are members of the Human Rights and International Club called Hooray at Moscow High School. Sabrina is the chair. There's a whole bunch more of them down at the Model UN in Boise, but look at all the wonderful helpers we have. Isn't that fantastic? Talk about building community. Okay, we always, anything else I forgot? We always close by singing We Shall Overcome. We usually stand and join hands, but we're being cautious, so you can just stand and have a little space around you. And we have a guest musician from Washington to lead us in the song. The words are on the back of the program, and I hope all of you at home in Zoom will join in singing. And here we go.
Someday
And we hope to hear from you at the task force. Go in peace and work for social justice.
All right. See ya.